So here we are. The very thing Harry and Meghan once vowed to protect above all else, their children, has now become the very issue unraveling their public image. And at the center of this storm is Tom Bower, a man known not for dropping claims, but for detonating them. The discussion has shifted away from royal traditions or palace politics and narrowed down to a single, piercing question: who exactly are Archie and Lilibet? For any ordinary family, such a question would be outrageous, even offensive. But for the Sussexes, where every aspect of their lives has been branded, filtered, and sold, it lands differently. Bower's claim is not some vague rumor whispered by tabloids. It is pointed, direct, and comes from years of investigative digging. He has suggested that Archie and Lilibet might not actually be Meghan and Harry's biological children, and that surrogacy was not simply a private decision, but a deliberately concealed arrangement, and perhaps not even the full story. Pause for a moment and let that sink in, because this goes far beyond parenting choices or demands for privacy. This touches on legitimacy, bloodline, and royal succession. If there is any truth to Bower's allegations, this is not just scandalous, it is a wrecking ball aimed at the monarchy's very foundation. Harry, once the mischievous and beloved prince admired worldwide, has been reduced to ridicule and memes. To some, he now appears as a fool, blindly led into this mess by Meghan. To others, he looks like a willing co-conspirator in a deception so intimate it undermines centuries of royal tradition. Either way, the reports paint a man in panic. Sources from Montecito describe him pacing rooms, lashing out at staff, and obsessing over every headline and online whisper. Ironically, the prince who once championed mental health is now portrayed as unraveling under the crushing weight of his own narrative. Meanwhile, Meghan is reportedly taking a colder, more calculated approach. Instead of emotional reactions, she is said to be drafting legal threats, hoping to choke the story with silence and lawsuits. But here lies the irony: the more she tries to suppress it, the more people want to know what is being hidden. Critics are already highlighting the carefully curated pregnancy photos, the inconsistencies in timelines, and the absence of clear medical records or traditional birth announcements. Why were there no hospital photos? Why were the timelines so vague? Why did everything feel staged? The scrutiny doesn't stop there. Unlike William and Kate's children, who have been seen with Charles, Camilla, and the late Queen, Archie and Lilibet have had almost no visible interaction with senior royals. Observers are beginning to ask, is this just coincidence, or has the palace deliberately kept its distance? This is not simply idle gossip. The implications are enormous. If the children were born via surrogacy, that is one matter. But if outside donors were involved, if the biological ties are not what has been publicly claimed, then this becomes a constitutional crisis. It raises direct questions about the children's place in the line of succession, something the palace cannot afford to leave ambiguous. Tom Bower is not an author chasing drama for book sales. He has a reputation for exposing the ugliest royal truths, many of which later proved disturbingly accurate. And now he has ignited what could be the most explosive secret yet, one that could undermine not only Harry and Meghan's public image, but also their very place in royal history. Through all of this, one thing remains glaringly silent: the Sussexes themselves. There has been no statement, no denial, no offer of transparency, no DNA test, just silence. And in situations like this, silence is not neutral. It screams. It fuels suspicion. It forces the public to wonder what exactly they are hiding. After all, if there was nothing to fear, wouldn't they have proven it by now? Calls for DNA testing have grown louder than ever. What began as quiet curiosity has escalated into a full-blown demand, echoed across social media, tabloids, and even primetime news debates. Panelists argue, hashtags trend, and the question spreads like wildfire: if Meghan and Harry have nothing to hide, why not simply take the test? From a public relations standpoint, the situation is catastrophic. Their brand was built around the image of a young, modern family, 2 loving parents, 2 beautiful children, and a mansion in sunny Montecito. But now, that picture is cracking. And the cracks are not superficial, they are structural, the kind that staged photos or glossy Netflix specials cannot conceal. This is no longer just another episode in the never-ending royal drama. This is about the very legitimacy of Harry and Meghan's family. For Harry, it cuts deeper than any past controversy. He has always clung to fatherhood as his redemption arc. When he stepped back from royal duties, when he severed ties with his family, when he sat down for the Oprah interview, he repeatedly insisted it was all for his children. He claimed that becoming a father saved him, grounded him, and gave him purpose. But now critics are asking, what if the children he spoke of are not even biologically his? The blow is brutal, not just to his image, but to his very identity. The same man who once walked behind Princess Diana's coffin as a symbol of strength is now being portrayed either as a naive puppet or a calculating participant in a cover-up of royal proportions. Neither portrayal works in his favor. One paints him as pitiful, the other paints him as deceitful. And perhaps worst of all, he looks powerless, a man unable to control even the narrative of his own family. Reports from Montecito describe a household gripped by tension. Harry is said to be consumed by every article, rumor, and YouTube video. He allegedly pores over photographs of his children, examines Meghan's pregnancy timelines, and obsesses over Bauer's claims. Friends describe him lashing out, ranting, unable to sleep, his anxiety and fear now visible. The irony is staggering. The prince who built a global reputation on advocating for mental health is now depicted as spiraling into paranoia. Meghan, on the other hand, is playing a different game. She is reportedly cold and calculated, pursuing legal measures to crush the story before it grows. But every cease and desist letter only seems to confirm public suspicions. The louder the legal threats, the more people ask, why go to such extreme lengths to suppress something unless there is truth to it? The palace's silence is equally chilling. Charles has made no comment. No recent public photos exist of the children with senior royals. No official birthday greetings for Archie or Lilibet have been issued. Compare that with the warmth and visibility surrounding William and Kate's children, and the contrast is stark. Observers are beginning to wonder whether the royal family suspects something, or worse, whether they have known for a long time. A new theory is gaining traction, that the royal family's distance is not punishment, but protection. By keeping Archie and Lilibet at arm's length, they may have been insulating the monarchy from a scandal they always feared might erupt. And now that Bauer has pulled it into the open, they are simply waiting for Harry and Meghan to either admit the truth or collapse under pressure. If this theory holds, it reframes everything. It suggests the palace anticipated this reckoning and chose distance over confrontation. And if true, it elevates the matter from tabloid chatter to royal crisis.